Hi friends! Welcome to another art video and welcome to 2022. Today I'm going to give you tips on how to draw portraits from references and how they can improve your own personal art. My personal goal for 2022 as an artist is to work on some of the technical skills, and so I'm challenging myself to draw every day for 30 days a portrait sketch, whether it's like 20 minutes to an hour. I just want to be able to hone in on some of these skills so I can work more efficiently and be able to draw faster. I want to share some of the tips that I've learned over the years that has helped me in my process of drawing portraiture. Whether you're a traditional artist or a digital artist, or if you even do a mixture of both, focusing and honing in on some of the fundamentals of drawing can only help you in your subject matter and in your medium. It's always good to just remember that your sketchbook is your own space for exploration and for experimentation. By drawing from references of any type of subject matter, you'll start to understand depth, and using that will ground your artwork to be more believable. You'll get a deeper understanding of how your structure works, and by that I mean the building blocks of your subject matter and how lighting can affect that, how shadows can play against the structure, how light can bounce off, so you'll have little highlights here and there. Not everything is full on just one shade of black. And so a lot of that plays into portraiture because there's so many reflective surfaces and there's so many different types of structures. People have higher cheekbones, people have stronger jaws, and I think that's where a lot of the fun comes in. It's exploring the different types of facial structures. I personally focused on portraiture, but these types of fundamental concepts can be applied to so many different things, whether it's architecture, florals, landscapes, still lifes. Using these basic concepts can only help you in the long run for whatever you're trying to draw or paint. Tip 1, measuring. The way I start a portrait is using a very, very basic measuring tool, which is really a cross. Up at the very top of the portrait all the way to the bottom of where I want to end the portrait, whether it's the chin or the neck. So I have my vertical line. And then I go straight to my width. So this is a crossbar method. Up and down vertical to determine the height, and immediately go from left to right to determine the width. And I do this really, really quick. This is pretty much like looking at my portrait and just intuitively just being 1-2 seconds up, down, left, right, just to get that crossbar measurement, and then going to the portrait and seeing how wide the actual portrait is compared to how tall it is. Sometimes, if it's really nice and easy, it's a great, beautiful, perfect square. Not always, but sometimes. And that's easy for me, so I know that my height and my width of the portrait are going to be the same distance in each direction, and that gives me a very good building block for the overall sketch. This is my square, and this is what I'm going to draw within. And that's where I'll start carving out the portrait. It's also great to have like one tiny measurement within the portrait to kind of reference throughout. And this is really just for relation measuring. So like say you want to use an eye as a measurement within the portrait. As your consistent measurement, you can use the measurement of your eye to be the consistent measurement throughout the entire portrait. So like maybe the face can be like the width of 6 eyes, or like the height is the width of, or it is made up of 6 eyes. Something very, very simple, but very, very effective. Keeping a relative measurement in mind is great so that you can always fall back on it if you start to lose where you are within the portrait. In summary, break down each measurement using a reference from your subject so that everything can be relatively proportionate to each other. Tip 2, start lightly and build slowly. Try and think of your drawing as a sculpture in 3D space. You want to use your pencils to bring up the drawing, but you don't want to bring it up too fast where you have like just where it's too dark to chisel away using your eraser. I like to use my mechanical pencil to lightly shade in basic shapes. And what I mean by that is seeing where shapes emerge within the facial structure. It's very easy to forget that the face is made up of plains and valleys. So like my nose comes in at a valley, but my cheek is a slight plane with a little bit of a curve. This is where lighting comes into play. And you want to kind of just hone in on where new shapes form within the face that are created by light, an event which causes shadows. So a very good a good exercise is drawing the nose. I think the nose is really fun to draw just because some noses are very reflective, some noses are just super different, and there's so many little curvatures that make up the nose. There's a curve here at the nostrils, there's a curve here at the very tip. It's a nice sloped valley. All of this, if you can think about it in 3D space, like it's a basic pyramid structure that you can break down into softer curves. And you want to make sure that you're shading in slow so that you don't overpower the paper with too much light. You don't want to go too dark where it will be hard to erase away. Tip 3, remember your eraser is just as important. I love my 2 new erasers that I got at a local art store here. I got a very, very tiny one, and then I got a flat rectangular one. And I think that they've been the best investment I've done for my sketching tools because I use them a lot. With these erasers, I can actually go in tighter in small spaces and just chisel away some of my marks that were not all too perfect. I think a lot of people can get wrapped up in wanting to do everything perfect the first time, and I think that's super toxic. You should embrace your eraser. You should be okay with the marks that you're making. Even with the eraser, if you go in just a little bit, if you just lightly erase, you can begin to build up even more tones. You can build up lighter tones that your pencil wouldn't be able to achieve. And I think that's also very exciting. Tip 4, focus on shapes, not symbols. Earlier, I mentioned that the face is made up of plains and valleys. When lighting hits a specific part of the face, a shape is created. And I think it can get so easy to forget to focus on these fundamental building blocks of shading shapes and instead of drawing something pretty. Your sketchbook is supposed to be for exploration, and I think that it's okay to just kind of let yourself loose. If you see a little triangle shadow here, that's what you're seeing, that's what you should be drawing. Don't do like a little S curve or a little curve. Just try and focus on how light is creating shapes within the facial structure and bone structure of the portrait. Another example is we all love to draw eyes as artists, or at least most of us, and we know if we are told to draw an eye right here, we can probably do a good one. But I think it can be easily forgettable how the eye actually looks. Like we have so many creases, the eye itself is curved and it's so reflective. You have different lights creating different shapes within the eye. You have shadows that are overcasting on the eye. You have creases under the eye. And I think just by stopping for like a second and looking at how the light and shadows build the eye and drawing what you're actually seeing will make your drawing, your portrait, much more in depth and much more believable. Tip 5, trust your intuition and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Your sketchbook is all about practice and it's all about exploration. So just be honest with yourself, with what you're seeing. Don't get discouraged if something doesn't come out exact. Like I know even I deal with this and I've been drawing for forever. I know that once I start to jam up and overthink, I start to overdraw the portraits, and that's when I have to stop and just be like, I think I just have to call it right here. I can't draw anymore. I'm not in a good mood. I'm done, and I will pick this back up again tomorrow, and that's okay. It's okay to do that. As long as you're just focused on trying to draw what you see, nothing else matters. Your portraits don't have to be perfect. Perfection is the enemy of progress. And, it's okay because in the long run, you're perfecting your progress. Don't spend too much time perfecting just one drawing because at the end of the day, if you do more every day, you'll get better. Challenging yourself to draw references can only elevate your own artwork. Plus, it can be so meditative. At the end of the day, you're just sketching and it's supposed to be fun. If there are any other types of tip videos you guys would like to see me share, let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're already a subscriber, I've been uploading daily sketches as YouTube shorts so that you guys can see my progress, and I hope you guys will join me in practicing sketching every day. And until next time, bye friends.